So today we are going to be making a value scale, and we will also talk about how it can help you with your drawing. To start making our value scale, the first thing we will do is we will start with a clean sheet of paper. And I'll take a ruler and a pencil. And I draw a 7-inch line. I draw it at the top of the ruler and I draw it at the bottom. Make sure that you take notice that the measurement does not begin where the wood begins at the ruler. I'll make a little tick mark at each inch. Then I'll come back and I will divide this space into different 1-inch sections. And then I will number each section so that it can easily be referenced 1 through 7. Now, I would like to point out that this is going to be a blended graphite value scale because there's all kinds of different value scales made out of all different types of media. You can do cross hatching with graphite and ink or charcoal, and so there's all different types of value scales. So this one particularly is graphite, and it is going to be blended from light to dark. Now, this can be done different ways, but I choose this way as a cheaper alternative. I do not have to have just a whole bunch of pencils. Instead, I have just a plain number 2 writing pencil. Then I have a 6B as my darkest, and then a 6H as my lightest, hardest lead. The easiest way, I believe, to start out is to start with number 4. I turn my pencil on its side and I try to make my lines smooth and as close together as possible, and I try not to go over the edges of the square. You'll see I'm also going multiple directions, changing which direction I go. And one reason for doing that is to get all the way to the edges, but also to help eliminate the presence of any strong lines being seen. So I use a number 2 pencil for the number 4 square. And then I pick up my darkest pencil, the 6B, and I move to the number 7 square. And again, you don't want to make scribble lines. You want to try to keep these lines as close together as you can. Now fill in the square. Then to try to clean up my corners and edges. Now this 7 box, you want it to be as dark as you can get it. So I'm going to do more than 1 layer of graphite, and I'm really going to press down very hard with my pencil. It's all about pressure. And again, I go in different directions, but the B pencil, the higher the number, like 6 is a higher number, again, the softer the lead it will be. And so now that I've got that one done, I'm going to pick up my 6H. I'm going to leave 1 blank, and then number 2, I'm barely going to press down. Because again, I said it's all about pressure. Turn that pencil where I'm using the side of the lead. I'm going to fill that in. Now again, I want to try to go more than one direction. This being a hard lead, the 6H, more line, it will be harder to get rid of your lines. And it's just harder to avoid them altogether. But again, I'm barely putting any pressure, and I'm putting layers going other directions. Now that I've got that done, the easiest way for me to look at this is to pick up my B pencil again, work backwards, and I want this one to be dark, but not as dark as the 7. There should be a noticeable transition between the different boxes. And I'm going to pick up my number 2 pencil and press it down harder than I did on the number 4 box. I'm going to fill in the number 5. Now you may choose to take the 6B pencil, the darkest, that you used on 6 and 7, and attempt to use it in the 5 box and just press down even lighter, less pressure than you used in 6. Because chances are you're going to have to go back and alter these just a little bit anyways after blending, but we'll get to that in just a second. And then I can use, since I've got this in my hand, I use this same pencil for number 4 as well. I can fill in number 3, but I don't want to press down very hard at all, because my goal is to make it darker than the number 2 box, but lighter than the number 4 box. You want to make sure you always get your edges. You want nice clean work. I want to go through and put another layer on this box. Now, time for blending. You're going to want a blending stump for this. You want to make sure it's clean. If it's not clean, take a scrap sheet of paper. You can clean it off a little bit. Let's see, if I'd started in with a dirty stump, I would have made a line here in my number 2 box because it is so light. Okay, so that blended well. It helped remove some of those lines that were in there. And since I'm gradually getting darker, I don't have to worry about cleaning off my blending stump every time. Now, if you do not have a blending stump at home, you can use a Kleenex or toilet paper tissue. Make sure you blend the corners as well. I'm going to press down a little bit harder. And I believe some of the graphite off of the blending stump went onto the square, and it made it turn a little bit darker as well, and I liked that. Continuing on. Now notice I'm changing directions as I blend, just like changing the direction of your pencil. That will also help eliminate the lines that'll be seen, because when you are drawing and you're wanting something to look realistic, you're not going to want pencil lines. Try to be careful when you're doing this not to get outside of the lines, just because it's easier not to make a mess at the beginning. You will notice that the different pencils, because of the hardness and softness of the lead, they will blend differently. The B pencil will blend much easier than the H pencil does. And here you have a value scale. Now if you finish this and you have a little bit of a mess, you can always take an eraser and clean up your work. If you finish this and you see that some of your squares look the same color, maybe you want to lighten up a square. For instance, if I wanted to say lighten up number 2 box, I can take a kneaded eraser. What's really great about them is you can get a smooth erasing. Now with very little pressure, you can rub it over the box and you can lighten up or smooth out an area. So you need to think about your eraser as a drawing tool as well. And there you have it, a graphite blended value scale. And just as a reminder, I use the number 2 pencil in the middle. I use the 6H pencil at the 2 and work my way over, varying my pressure, and the 6B pencil at the darkest end.